All right. How's it going, everybody? YouTube Live. Today is Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. I can't believe the month of January 2019 is almost over. Wow, time flies. Okay, so tonight is the new episode of season 5 of The Flash. To be specific, it's season 5, episode 12, titled Memorabilia. And I loved it. Oh my god, The Flash. You always give me the feels, man. Not all. I want to say almost always. There are some episodes in the past that just kind of like, yeah. But tonight was just like, mm, it is on top of its game. All right. Just like with all my episode or many of my episode recaps and my TV reviews, this too contains spoilers. So, spoiler alert: this review or this video is mostly for those of you, my fellow The Flash fans, who have seen tonight's episode as well. Okay, so I have a few notes here. Let's discuss memorabilia. All right, I'm gonna get right to it here. I just want to say that first off, I suck at ice skating, but I used to go to ice ring a lot in the local neighborhood here. There's an ice ring. I kid you not, there's an ice ring nearby here in Southern California. You would think that we have all this sun and heat and always hot, almost round the clock every year. But we do have an ice rink for people to actually just enjoy themselves. And the episode starts out that way, and it just reminds me of how I always fall. I can't seem to skate right. I will never be like Wayne Gretzky. But I go there a lot to my local ice ring because it helps me think. Whenever I'm stressed out, I either go to the batting range, um, to the golf range, just to hit some balls. I know that sounds funny, and or either that or either those or I would go bowling or ice skating, even though I suck at ice skating. So that the opening of this episode kind of takes me back to whenever I hate my job, I hate my work. So I after work I go to the nearest ice skating ring and just you know looking at people doing their ice moves while I fall on my knees like crazy many times. All right, so the episode is essentially about them. By them, I mean Barry Allen, Nora, the team, right? Team Flash, Sherlock. They want to defeat Cicada by appealing to the one thing that he cares the most, and that is his niece, um, Grace. Her name is Grace, and she's in a coma. So Cicada pretty much has been killing Metas left and right because he's blaming Metas for what happened to Grace. So the Flash, Team Flash thinks like, okay, if we wake Grace up, if we heal Grace from her coma or bring her back from her coma, then maybe we can appeal to the good side of Cicada. Maybe Cicada will wait like, oh my god, thank you for bringing my niece back to me. Oh, you guys are metas and you help me. I guess not all metas are bad. Okay, I'll stop killing metas. So essentially, that's the idea. Um, and Sherlock gets this machine, the memory, to get into the to access somebody's memory, and it's okay. This is why I mentioned to you many times before. I think I mentioned this in the review for Titans series, the Titans live action series, how I am a big fan of movies and shows that are about mental asylum or hallucinations or dreamscapes, because I mean those are the best, right? Because that's when you get to uh, see the creativity of the filmmaker or the director of that episode to go run wild, because the script is pretty much wild and it's anything goes, anything can happen in such a scenario. So I'm a huge fan of stories about getting stuck in somebody's memory or getting stuck in mental asylum, and you're seeing yourself spiraling down into craziness. Because man, then you'll see like trippy, freaky, creepy stuff happening around every corner. Surprises, turns, twists and turns, and it's fun. It's fun when you deal with stories like that. And tonight is no different. So they go in. So Nora doesn't want her memory about Eobard Thawne to be found out by Barry Allen, because you're supposed to like pair up when you go to somebody's memory. And so Nora's like, fuck that pairing up thing. I don't want my dad to find out I've been talking to one of his all-time nemesis or villains. So she goes in by herself, tries to convince Grace, and then of course Barry and Iris get notified. It's like, oh my God, Nora is doing it on her own. So Barry and Iris, because their parental instinct kind of kick in. It's like, we gotta help our daughter, and they go in. And turns out they end up in Nora's memory. Nora is in Grace's memory. Now, it's fascinating the way the tone, not the color palette, right? Because Nora is her suit is purple, her lightning speed force when she runs is all purple. So that's when you're in her memory, everything's purple. Right? You see purple. Grace is mostly green. That's the color base of Grace's memory. Everything is green. I mean, any minute now, Hulk smash. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, um, it's funny because now that it gets interesting, right? It's like when Barry and Iris end up in Nora's memory instead of Grace's memory, and you're like, that's when I geek out even more. I geek out even more than I already was. I was like, yes, yes. The plot just thickens. The plot just got juicier. I was like, oh my God. So there's a problem at hand, and how are they going to solve it? And that makes for an interesting story. So kudos on the writers for coming up with that complication. um, in these memories, Grace figures out, oh my God, Nora is actually one of the metas. And Grace has developed an affinity for her uncle, because she sees her uncle as protector, and so she sees Nora as a nemesis, an opponent. And so apparently, is it just me, or Grace's the cicada in Grace's memory is not her uncle? It's some woman. It has long blonde hair. I know. I'm crazy. I might be seeing things, but you can probably argue like maybe that's Grace or Grace in the future. Did Grace create Cicada somehow? It's it's revealed in this episode that apparently Cicada is never arrested, is never, he never died. Apparently he has something to do with the Flash's disappearance. So could that be not the Uncle Cicada? What I mean is that maybe it's that woman cicada, the female cicada, the one in Grace's memory, or maybe a grown-up Grace, if you want to put that theory. Um, Maybe she is the one involved or is responsible for the Flash's disappearance, not the current present cicada. So you see where I'm getting at? So that is revealed, by the way, about Flash's disappearance in a museum about the Flash. That's one of the most appealing part of this episode. Uh, Barry gets to see all kinds of memorabilia, hence the title of the Flash. It's funny. I don't know. How would you feel if you see action figures or water bottle or a backpack that has your face plastered on it, or action figure, your own action figures? um I think most of us will never get to know what that feels like. But I'm guessing for actor Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash, that probably kind of resonates with him. Even though that, what I'm trying to say is that I'm sure even as Barry Allen in this episode, geeking out, it's like, oh my god, it's like, oh, look at, Grant Gustin in real life probably already comes across um, such an occasion, because holding the Flash action figure, I'm sure Grant Gustin already experienced that. Um, Another thing also I have on my note is the other arc in this episode, which involves elongated man, Ralph Dibny, and um, Cisco. They go to the bar. Cisco is under the impression that they're going there to get some intel about Cicada. Turns out the guy is referring to a band called Sick Ada. um, eh, eh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really on the side of on the side of Ralph Dibny on this one, because Ralph seems to me. I mean, obviously, he wants Cisco to, I guess, to get back on the horse to find somebody again, on the singles night bar. But I don't know if I'm all for that though. I don't know if I'm all for them, if I support such a method. That's what I'm saying. Trying to say, if I'm cool with Ralph Dibny's tactic. Um, I know that it ends nicely at the episode. Cisco strikes a conversation with the bartender, and my God, the bartender is so cute. Oh my God. Um, the bartender in the Punisher season 2 is played by Alexa Davos, I believe. Yeah, she's the star of The Man in the High Castle, and she's freaking hot. But the bartender in this one is even prettier. It's like, oh man, this is the season of sexy bartenders on TV or on streaming service. Um, so she's hella cute, and she connects with uh, and they laugh too. They kind of get each other's joke, and so we'll see. I don't know if we're gonna see more of that bartender, or it's just like a one-off thing. We might not see her again ever again. We'll see. But man, whoever that actress is, I wish her all the best with her career, because she is hella cute, and I want to see her in all kinds of projects, prominently, right? Not just some extras or whatnot. Um, so that is the whole Cisco and Ralph thing. Very, very minimal, minuscule part of the episode. Nothing. The getting Cisco back on the horse probably like the should be the last thing in the priority list in Team Flash. I don't know why Ralph Dibny thought that it was important to do so. But hey, you know, be that as it may. The one thing I also have on my note here, the defense mechanism that each memory has. Grace's defense mechanism is Cicada, and it's a female Cicada. And Nora's defense mechanism, the one that's kind of threatening Barry and Iris when they're in Nora's memory. Guess what? It's Eobarton. Reverse Flash as like a freaking costume, just walking around, walking about. That is some creepy shit. I love that. I love that. And then also in this memory, Iris gets to see two versions of herself. One is the strict, um, I guess you could describe her also aggressive mom who gets really angry at little Nora. The other one is the compassionate, understanding mom who kind of approaches her daughter, little Nora, her daughter's, um, what's the word I'm looking for here? She feels like, because she grew up without the Flash. The Flash is missing, so she's like, oh, I don't know who my dad is. So she has that longing, and the nice Iris, not the strict one, the nice Iris kind of empathizes with that, because that kind of understands where little Nora is coming from, why little Nora feels that that museum is like, I don't know, maybe a second home. Like I belong here because this is the only memory that I have of my dad. My dad's not around. Um, but yeah, that strict, aggressive, judgmental Iris, that is some scary Iris right there. Iris even like, oh my god, is this me? Now here's the thing. Here's what I put on my note, and it's been tackled many times before on this show. The idea of, okay, so the future is gonna be this way, so we're gonna have to dedicate a big chunk of this season into potentially changing that future. For example, the one with Savitar. Remember Savitar? It's like Savitar killed Iris, so it's like they they get a whole chunk of that season is like to figuring out, oh my god, how do we prevent that from happening? Um, so something like that has been, the whole changing timeline, changing future thing. That's nothing new in the Flash. In tonight's episode, it's no different, right? Because because there's always this fear, like, oh my god, is that gonna be me? Is that what's gonna happen to us? Is that what our daughter Nora's gonna have to experience? And are we able to change it, or are we powerless to change it? Is the future inevitable? Um, but in this case, it's not so much about the future. It's, as you can see in this episode, there are versions of memory that Nora and Grace kind of create in their heads. Um, so it's very, very changeable. Unfortunately, in the case of Grace, Grace is very angry. Grace is very determined. So she has made up her mind. So there's no changing that. And so, whereas in the case of Nora, um, you can have that memory of your parents be kind at you, as opposed to otherwise. But in the case of Grace, she's like, she's becoming rigid. She's becoming stubborn. Like, no, this is gonna be the only memory that I will cling to, and I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm not gonna try to bend it or change it. This is what I'm gonna have from this point forward, and there's nothing that you can say to me that will change that. And that's very unfortunate. I mean, like, I'm scared watching Grace. Grace is pretty scary by the end of this episode. She is some terrifying freaking exorcist. Well, maybe exorcist is an over exaggeration. She's not possessed, but man, she's gone like cold villain, man. She's like, you're a liar, you're a liar, my uncle helped me, you're a meta, I don't trust you. I was like, like you just want to slap that kid. It's like, show some respect to the grown-ups. No, I'm just kidding. um but yeah, like it's like, oh, listen, why are you um hardening your stance? Why are you hardening your heart, man? Come on, give Nora a chance. But man, she is just like, by that point, you do not want to be anywhere near her, because you're pretty much already on her bad side anyway. So yeah, that is some scary stuff. And kudos to the girl who plays Grace, by the way. Again, that's some terrifying performance. And it's not even a horror movie. Um, so lastly, Nora keeps checking in with Gideon. Gideon keeps, I guess, transferring the message to Eobor Thawne in the future. Um, and Sherlock is getting closer and closer to figuring out Nora's secret. I'm surprised that by this point Barry and Iris still can't figure it out, or that they don't ask Nora why Eobard or Reverse Flash is her defense mechanism. I'm surprised that Sherlock is the one that kind of thinks it instead of Barry and Iris who actually went through it. But then again, when I guess when you're parents, I'm not a parent. When you're parents, you just want to see the good in your kid. You don't want to assume the worst. Um, for most, generally parents anyway, you want to give your kids benefit of the doubt, or like, oh, my kids will tell me when they're ready, or well, my kids will tell me anyway. I'm close to my kids. They won't hide anything from me. Maybe they're blinded by that. That's their blind spot. Either case, man, Sherlock's gonna uncover that one. So overall, another fantastic episode, with the exception of the whole Cisco and Ralph Dibny thing. I think that part is just because the writers don't know. Okay, where do we put them? All right, while we go through this whole dreamscape, memoryscape thing, where are we gonna put? Where are we gonna bench Ralph and Cisco? Let's put them in a bar full of single women. um, I'd rather them just like kind of write them out. Like, how some episodes don't have Cisco, or some episodes don't have Ralph. I mean, it could have been just like that from the beginning. Just like don't have Ralph or Cisco at all, and just have it be only about the rest. But yeah, other than that, fantastic episode. I love stories that involve memories, hallucinations, mental asylums. It's like you imagine the characters imagine things that aren't there, and the room keeps shifting and changing, and then you go to the next portal, and oh my god, whose memory is this? I love it. I love it. So um I'm a sucker for that. That the episode tonight really speaks to that fandom side of me. Big fan, big fan. All right, so those are my long thoughts or my long rant. That's my long rant about tonight's The Flash season 5, episode 12, titled Memorabilia. Which reminds me, I may have to buy some of those The Flash action figures and maybe The Flash Funko Pop, and see if I can sell them on eBay and see how much it goes for. All right, you guys. What do you guys think? If you've seen tonight's episode, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe to this channel, press that like button, ring that bell. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this.